First topic of the show.
Let's get into it.
It's been a long day without you, my friend.
Enough. We're going to get copyrighted.
And I tell you all about it.
All right, now I'm really done.
See you again. I don't know if we're going to see him again, though. Let's keep it tight.
Yo, that was insane, bro. I could not believe it.
Matt Ryan was benched.
Bro, I was stunned.
And although the Colts lost 10-19 versus the Titans, I didn't think his performance warranted a benching. I did not.
You didn't? He looked like shit.
After the 2 interceptions, he was great.
After
actually.
the 2 interceptions.
He was great. Paris Campbell.
After the pick six.
Paris Campbell, I'm telling you.
He had a good game.
He started 2 weeks back to back.
You told
He's
me
doing what
every
he's doing.
single person on the Colts was going to be good. Like, someone is going to hit. And
Paris Campbell
still,
and Alec Pierce, have they not been good players?
they have been, for sure. Yeah, Pittman's been the one.
Paris Campbell has been doing good. 10 receptions last game.
He's on pace for probably like 600 yards.
This is 553. I'll say this.
That's what he's on pace for?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He had a slow start to the season. That might pick up though. I'll
Sam
say this
Ellinger?
about the Colts. When he got benched, the first thought that came into my head was, this is desperate. This is a desperate move. And I don't know how anybody can take it as anything other than a desperate move. Is this not a desperate move by the Colts? Matt Ryan is coming off a performance where he had 350 yards, 3 touchdowns against the Jaguars, which they're a good defense, and was a Rodrigo Blankenship field goal away in week 1 from being a 4-3-1 team in first place in the AFC South. Like this team is on pace to go to the playoffs. Every single win, Chiefs, Broncos, Jags, were all due to Matt Ryan putting out a late game drive to lead the Colts to victory. All of these games.
Could throw the Broncos game out. He did it, but he was terrible the entire game. But go on.
Sam Ellinger is now the 6th quarterback the Colts have started since Andrew Luck retired. Does that not scream desperate? They bring in Phillip Rivers. They had Jacoby Brissett. They started Brian Hoyer. On Carson Wentz, Matt Ryan, Sam Ellinger. This was a desperate football team. And what Frank Reich said about Matt Ryan being benched when he was speaking about it was 100% true. Not only was this desperate, but I think the conclusion everybody should come out to is that Matt Ryan, Hall of Fame quarterback, exceptional career, nearing the tail end of his career, he was failed. The Colts failed Matt Ryan. It's as simple as that. Frank Reich said this in his presser to Matt Ryan. He spoke to him directly in the camera. You came here and we promised you a top NFL rushing game, and we promised you great protection, and we haven't really, as an offense, delivered on that. Matt Ryan, at 37 years old, has gotten hit 80 times this season. With 7 weeks, 80 times, 110 pressures. The rushing game, which last year was first in EPA in all of NFL and all of football, this year dropped to 30th. Matt Ryan was supposed to come into a situation where he wasn't supposed to be the reason they won. He was supposed to be part of it. He came into a situation where it's supposed to be a play-action heavy scheme, and he's throwing less than 24 passes a game, and the Colts are winning. Yet every single week, Matt Ryan was asked to throw 40-plus fucking times a game at 37 years old. What quarterbacks are thriving in that situation? Very little quarterbacks. Matt Ryan.
Can you pick me real quick?
Matt Ryan was failed.
Dude, pick me.
It's as simple as that.
Just pick me real quick. So last season, we knew that the Colts offensive line, at least pass pro, was not good. It was like 24th. But I was told multiple occasions, it's not the offensive line. It's not that bad. Wentz holds on to the ball for too long. He's indecisive. Whether that's fact or fiction, now we carry over into 2022 season, and we're seeing this offensive line with a quarterback who is not mobile get sacked and pressured 1 trillion times. Is that a huge shock? It shouldn't be. In 2022, if you have a quarterback that is not mobile, it is imperative that you have an offensive line that can protect. If you do not have that, you will not be successful. I talk about offensive line not being essential with mobile quarterbacks. A Kyler, a Lamar, a Herbert. We've seen that.
Daniel Jones this year.
Daniel Jones, Joe Burrow. These are all guys that have capabilities of scrambling outside of the pocket, making things happen because they're mobile. Eli Manning had his career thrown to garbage because he had a terrible offensive line, and he is not a mobile quarterback that can produce like that with an offensive line being as bad as it is. Now, Matt Ryan goes through something similar, and I'm not saying this is indicative of Matt Ryan, his play, even though the statistics say that he's been bad either way. Has he had moments? Absolutely.
He's had great,
but he's not a mobile quarterback. And with a pass pro as bad as the Colts, you cannot have that, especially in 2022.
I don't disagree with what you're saying, but I didn't think this pass pro was going to be elite. I thought this run blocking was going to be elite. I thought the running game was going to be elite. At least a top 10 unit at the least. Minimum. This has been the worst rushing unit in football. This has been the worst run blocking unit in football. This is the highest paid offensive line in football, and they cannot fucking block. So because of that, 7 weeks into the season, the Colts are 3-4-1. 3-3-1, one of those. I don't know. It's one of those.
3-3-1.
The Colts made this move for 3 reasons, and this is really it.
3.
Yeah. Fan excitement.
Wait,
who's excited for Sam Ehlinger?
You'd be surprised.
Really? Would I be?
Yeah. Go on Colts Reddit.
You know, you're right. I got to do that.
This is 3 of the reasons. Fan excitement, draft position, and scheme. It's that simple. The team is now more excited to see a 24-year-old Sam Ehlinger than Matt Ryan. And why is that? Because this offense is one of the worst offenses in the NFL. This offense is being carried by Matt Ryan, who has to throw 30-plus fucking times a game to even score, to even get points. And as a fan, I'd rather be like, just putting myself in the Colts fan shoes, I'd rather be like, well, Matt Ryan, this is as good as it's going to get. There's no going up from here, only down. I'd rather see what we have in Sam Ehlinger, who was drafted in the 6th round out of Texas, who was a Heisman runner-up when he was in college, who the coaching staff has raved about as having some sort of it factor and moxie, who played exceptional in the preseason. I'd rather see what we have in him. So at least now this brings some sort of excitement to the Colts. The second one is just draft position. I think the Colts quite know, just like me, I'm predicting that Sam Ehlinger is going to stink it up as well. Because the Colts is not a Matt Ryan issue. It's a everything issue. So when Sam Ehlinger goes in and gets sacked 5-6 times and he throws 2 interceptions, people are going to realize, oh, Matt Ryan wasn't the problem. But then they've already said they're going to stick with him throughout the entire season. So now this gives the Colts a chance to get a top pick in the NFL draft. And it's just scheme. What you said was correct. You can't have an offense. You can't have a quarterback that's a statue back there when the offensive line allows so many pressures. So Sam Ehlinger negates some of those pressures. He can get out of some of those sacks. And at this stage in his career, does he have a slightly stronger arm than Matt Ryan? You can make that argument.
That brother's throwing ducks.
And you can also run an option. You can run option plays with Jonathan Taylor. Maybe that gets the run game going somewhat. But there's so many things that have to go right for this Sam Ehlinger move to be a starter to go right. And honestly, I'm expecting it to be a complete flop because this year, the public has been fooled on quarterbacks time in and time again. Whether it's been Cooper Rush, whether it's been Bailey Zappi, now we're going to have Sam fucking Ehlinger. There's a brand new fantasy app. It's called Boom Fantasy. You got over-unders, player props. You got matchups. This player versus that player. That's personally my favorite and long shots. You can win 40 times your money, and if I'm not mistaken, Joel, NBA is coming soon.
Yes, sir. NBA will be in the app in the next 10 days or so. You know, I believe opening night is October 19th, so we'll have stuff up a few days beforehand. That's going to be fun because we have it every night. You don't have to wait till Monday, Thursday.
Did you get your code? For the league pass?
I did get my code for the league pass.
I got my code too.
Yep, that's amazing.
That's from 2K, right?
Yes.
That's tough.
Amazing.
That's fire.
So if you guys haven't already, download the Boom Fantasy app right now. Link is in our description or in the caption wherever you're watching. Everybody thought that Cooper Rush was the guy. Bailey Zappi was the guy.
If you're a part of everybody, seek help.
And now we're going to see Sam Ehlinger. The Colts issues will still be there.
Yeah.
And then people will realize, oh, it wasn't Matt Ryan, which it was never Matt Ryan. It's just they failed Matt Ryan. That's pretty much it. And at this point, if I'm Matt Ryan, I would have honestly went to the Colts myself and said, listen,
get me out.
I'm just going to be a mentor. I'll retire after the season. You don't have to pay my money. That's it. I'm taking way too many hits that I'm not supposed to be taking because this was supposed to be a great offensive line, and this team failed me. They failed Matt Ryan. As simple as that.
I'm sorry, before you go.
Go
Another example of this is what's going on in Tampa Bay. Brady was historic last season. You're going to tell me 1 year to the next, Brady suddenly washed?
I feel like his off-the-field issues could be doing
That
it
a
too.
little bit too, but
he
let's
has
be
9
honest.
touchdowns, 1 interception on a year.
Exactly. That's not bad by any means. It's just he's not been as prolific as we've seen Tom Brady in the past.
Offensive line issues.
His offensive line is nowhere near where it's been in the past few years, majority of his career. And yes, of course, he's being pressured more. He's being sacked more. His offense is not moving as much.
And he has the quote-unquote elite weapons.
Is that a surprise to anyone? He's not mobile. He's 44, almost 45. It's common sense.
His weapons have been in and out too. Mike Evans suspended.
Mike Evans
Godwin
dropped
was in and
a
out.
bomb touchdown.
Russell Gage been in and out.
But Godwin,
Gronk is gone.
He's been healthy for the past 4 weeks.
No, for sure.
Mike Evans has missed 1 week. It should not be that big of an issue, but it is because the offensive line is not good.
Joel. It's been fun. Us going back and forth with the Colts and Matt Ryan over this last year.
Hey man, I'm truly
It's
sorry.
been fun.
I'm truly sorry.
It really has been a blast. And a couple of weeks ago, or it might have even been the last show, you like to steal my quote and said, some people are just better at projecting than others when talking about Matt Ryan. You couldn't be more right. Some people are just better at projecting than others. With that being said, this move surprised me. Without a doubt, when this news first came out, they were kind of all over the place. First, it was, Matt Ryan's getting benched. Then it was Matt Ryan has an injury. Then it's no, Matt Ryan's being benched for the remainder of the season for 6th-round draft pick Sam Ehlinger, who coaches have been raving about. Last week, we were on the show, and Joel had his, very common victory laps, his 1 week victory laps that you like to go on whenever your guy goes off for that 1 week and throw away whatever else has happened for the rest of the season. Last week, Matt Ryan was sensational, almost 400 yards, put up 34 points against the Jaguars, who just a few weeks ago we said were the best team, including Joel said they're going to win the division. But as we sit here today,
they were on pace too.
As on pace is great through 3 weeks of the season.
We're all on the same page. Titans the lock to win.
With all said and done, he also said last week the Colts to go to the AFC Championship game.
I didn't say that.
Yes, you did. No, you did.
No, I
you
didn't.
did.
No, I didn't.
You said they
bro.
could be a dark horse AFC Championship team.
You said that again?
Yes, they did.
Joel,
we can run back the tape.
Joel,
we can run back the tape. No problem on that. No problem on that.
Before you say something, you have to run back the tape and actually bring out the sound.
You got to
bite.
use context.
Because
we can easily find that, because I remember being here and I was appalled that he said that. Anyway, moving on. You could talk about how Matt Ryan has had these great games, these game-winning drives, and he has. He has 3 games of over 350 passing yards, 3 games of 2+ passing touchdowns. But 6 out of the 7 games, he has multiple turnovers. He has the lowest yards per attempt in the NFL. You mentioned how many times he was hit, how many times he's been pressured. There is no way to get around that Matt Ryan at this stage in his career, which is what I've just been telling you the entire offseason and the entire regular season, he can only succeed in a perfect situation. Right. If a wide receiver is hurt, if the offensive line isn't good, if he's on the road, if he's playing a tough defense, if the weather is bad, if any of these factors going into it, Matt Ryan is going to fold.
What does that mean, though? Like succeeding in a perfect situation?
If everything around him is going great, he can be good.
Because how many quarterbacks is that, though? That's almost every quarterback in the NFL.
What do you mean?
Outside of a couple.
I don't know if that's overly true.
Kirk
do you
Cousins
mean succeed in the sense of winning a championship or being prolific in the playoffs?
Being in the playoffs, trying to go on a run.
How about not get benched through 6 weeks?
Well, they made this.
What are we talking about?
They made this move to not go to the playoffs. This is obviously not a move to win, bro.
You can rattle off the quarterbacks that can win without being in a perfect situation. Of course, you got Allen, you got Mahomes. Probably Lamar can win without a perfect situation.
Lamar can't. He's shown he can't.
He's shown he can't.
Lamar has not had a perfect situation. He's shown he cannot win.
Has Lamar been benched? Has Lamar been a 1 seed? Has Lamar been MVP? What are we talking about?
But he
here?
hasn't won in the playoffs.
Okay, I'm not talking about playoff success. We're talking about just regular season success right now, because Matt Ryan, they couldn't get to the play. They couldn't get through the bye week.
3-game winning drives.
He couldn't get through the bye week. 6 out of 7 games he had multiple turnovers. Bro, we're not arguing this.
You think the Colts?
You lost. You lost. We're not arguing this. Bro, he got benched.
Hold up. You think the Colts bench Matt Ryan so they can win more games?
I think, for one, because we're going to get into Sam Ehlinger in a bit.
Okay.
No.
I was surprised.
Who gives you a chance to win more games?
Matt Ryan, I didn't think he was worthy of getting benched. Was he playing like a bottom 10 quarterback in the league? Probably.
Does this move get the Colts more wins? Is this
we really have to wait and see because of this. I think the Colts are seeing what the Colts are seeing with the Giants and Jets. They could be viewing as very similar. We have an elite running back. We have a defense that's probably been a bit disappointing, but we have the talent to be a really good defense. We've been losing because Sure, Matt Ryan has won you some games, but 6
won
out
you
of
all
7
your games.
6 out of 7 games he has multiple turnovers. You could also argue he's lost you those games you've also lost. So now you have Sam Ehlinger, who, of course, mentally right now compared to Matt Ryan, he doesn't have the reps. He's going to be a second-year player. I think Matt Ryan's been in the league forever. He's mobile. He had almost 2,000 rushing yards in college. He doesn't have the best arm. But look what the Giants and Jets are doing. Daniel Jones is throwing for less than 200 yards per game.
6th round pick.
Zach
overall pick.
Zach Wilson is the same way.
Second
and
overall pick.
Neither is Daniel Jones playing like the 6th overall pick. Is Zach playing like the 2nd overall
Daniel
pick?
is.
I'd argue
No.
Daniel is right now.
Daniel is.
I think Zach is
Throw some
doing a
respect on his name,
good job
please.
managing the game.
Just do some,
We're
throw some
talking
respect on
top
his
6
name.
pick.
Sam
We need
Ehlinger
to
is
be
not
borderline
them.
top 10. If you're a top 6 pick,
Do you have to?
you have to be okay. I don't want to
Sam
get. I don't want
Ehlinger
to make
is
this.
not that, bro.
I don't want to make this into
Alex
a
Smith?
Daniel Jones
Can you
topic.
stop?
What right now the
Casuals.
Colts could be doing is seeing how these other teams are winning. In today's NFL, in 2022, we see how scoring is down across the board. For majority, unless you're playing the Eagles, Chiefs, or Bills, you don't have to put up 30 points. You don't have to go out there and have these quick 2-minute drives where you have to score right away or else the other team's going to go up and light it
Are
up.
you going to throw Bengals in that?
Bengals are in that conversation in terms of explosive offenses
Yeah.
for sure. But I think the Colts could be looking at, if we don't have all these turnovers, if we have a guy that can be mobile, that can avoid some of these sacks that are going to kill your drives time after time again, when a 1st and 10 turns into a 2nd and 17, it's really hard for any offense to get out of that. Now, I don't think Sam Ehlinger is a better quarterback right now. But I'm saying in a system, if they could scheme it up correctly with a mobile guy, and hopefully this defense turns it around, hopefully Jonathan Taylor gets it going, I know I'm banking on some things here. But I do see why, because right now, Matt Ryan's not the future of this team. He has the most turnovers, most interceptions, most fumbles, most sacks. Like, yes, he has won you games. He has game-winning drives. He has these 300-yard performances. But you have to take all of that and say, he has all of the bad shit that goes with it too. All the things you can absolutely not do as a starting quarterback with all these turnovers and these drive-killing sacks. So I don't think this makes them a better team right now. And Sam Ehlinger is probably not going out and winning you those type of games Matt Ryan did. But maybe he doesn't lose you all those games. Maybe he doesn't have multiple turnovers in every game. I wasn't a huge Sam Ehlinger guy coming out. I thought he was a great college quarterback. He doesn't profile to be a great starting quarterback in the NFL. Right now, you're just hoping he could play in a system. He could throw for 180 yards a game. Jonathan Taylor gets it going. That's what I think the Colts are relying on.
Wait, so maybe Sam Ehlinger doesn't win you those games, which means the Colts would be winless. Because Matt Ryan, all of their wins have been game-winning drives by Matt Ryan.
Matt Ryan has, how many games has he lost to? 6 out of 7, multiple turnovers.
Okay, they've
The
lost.
impressive ones here. Jaguars, KC.
Okay,
Winning both those
they've
games.
lost.
And that KC game, they shouldn't have won. That was the worst special teams game
Shoulda,
we'll probably
woulda,
see
coulda,
all
doesn't
year.
matter. They won.
They did, but I'm saying you play that game 100 times, the Colts lose 99.
It's
All right,
been
but they
multiple
won that one.
occasions where the Chiefs
They won
have
that
had issues on special teams and have overcome.
All right, but this
kicker
is
was hurt
this past
is,
week.
All right, but they've lost to who? The Titans twice and the Jaguars. Was the Jaguars lost because of solely Matt Ryan?
No,
It was not. They got shut out. That's a team
because
thing.
Michael Pittman was out.
That's a team thing though.
He also was not great.
JT was in there and he didn't do shit. The offensive line didn't do
Well,
shit.
they gave him, what, 4
That's
carries in the first half?
Yeah, because they couldn't run the ball. That's why they had a
4 carries.
Four
What did he do?
carries.
they had a
Get it cooking.
they had a
He had 10 carries last game, had 60
I'd
yards.
They had
rather
to
see
pivot
9
from it
rushes,
early.
18 yards than 4 carries on what? 12,
they had a
something
pivot. They had to
like
pivot
that?
from it early. Versus the Titans both times, bro. Frank Reich is not beating the Titans in the last 2 seasons.
That's bad.
He doesn't
Listen,
beat the
I
Titans.
don't blame the Colts because I think they look at this team. This is not a championship contender. This is not a team that can make a deep playoff
And their
run.
tie, they only were able to get the tie because Matt Ryan let a comeback.
Okay, good for him. I think they're being realistic right now.